Welcome back to the scary cave full of scary puzzles. Maybe. I didn't actually look at them up close, to be honest. I just saw what very much looked like the inside of the mountain from the witness and thought, that's the inside of the mountain from the witness. I'm gonna come back later. Right. One neighbor means they have to be that color too themselves. Doot doot. Doot doot doot. Ah. So you can't dip into a corner and then leave that corner. I can remember how to reset these ever. I guess you just go back here. Okay. Yeah, I can only do the fill in the corner trick here at the beginning because I start there. Because otherwise you get stuck with the fact that the entrance and the exit are the same place. Sorry. I'm slightly distracted because my right ear is like plugged and it's bothering me, but it won't go away. Like it's congested, like in a long-term way, not like not the thing you just fix by just blowing your nose or whatever. It's like my voice sounds weird, and it's like kind of giving me pause when I'm trying to talk. Ugh. So... how do we do this? If you walk through them, as you can see here, there will always be two neighbors because you need to both step onto the space and off of the space. So that means that they all have to be, except for maybe this one at the beginning, they all have to be empty. Which means they're all gonna have one remaining blank space at the end. Which raises the question how I fill them in? Because, hey, you can't go into one of these corners. So how do you fill in one of the sides of these so that only one of them is left over? If I end on this one, it'll be happy. But how do I make the other one happy at the beginning? Fill it in like this. There we go. So you end on one of them, and you can fill in just enough of both sides there without going in the actual corners. I figured one of the corners was going to be mandatory at some point, but it was specifically that one. So we got there. I kind of skipped to this one, even though it's in the top corner, because it just kind of felt like the easier one. Why is the one on the left red? And these ones are red. These ones are orange. What do the colors mean? Is it the combination of mechanics? No. These use a bunch of different mechanics. Oh my god. This one down here has... oh fuck. It has regular dots, it has negative dots, it has shape lines, it has diamonds, and it has flowers. It even has both the fixed and the rotatable shape lines in the same puzzle. I'm a little afraid this is gonna start looking like disgusting witness randomizer shit. Oh boy. Okay, let's stick with these ones that at least just have one mechanic. 2 if you count walking on tiles, which is kind of its own thing too. But they were combined before though. This is at least familiar. Can I zoom in? No. Just feels unnecessary to be this far away. This one kind of feels like you open by doing this. Because that one can have no neighbors and that one has 1 neighbor, so they're happy so far. Oops. And the no neighbor ones can't be white because you can't go through them without giving them more neighbors. It kind of feels like I need to wrap around this. Oh no, because I considered the idea of being able to end like that, which would make it happy, but I didn't take care of the original problem. And I can't come from that side on the end. Okay. I'm registering the fact that the top purple has to have no neighbors, and it has to be empty because of what I said before. So that means the one to its left has to have 1 neighbor and has to be filled in. Which means I have to end there. The single neighbor flowers are starting and ending points. It's the only way you can draw them that way. Because the relationship between those 2 flowers means that they can't be the same as each other. So the paradox here is that it feels like I have to walk like this at the beginning in order to make this one at the bottom happy. But then I also have to end here to make this one happy. But I also have to curl around to make this one happy. I was about to say that the middle one has to be... the middle one's restricting us a lot because we have to give it a wide berth like this in order to avoid triggering it, because it needs to have 2 neighbors that are like it, so you have to leave 2 like it. But if I stepped on it, that would also be 2 neighbors. But you can't... no, you can't cross back over it. Not really? I guess you could do this at the beginning and cross over like this. There we go. Yeah, that was the solution. Is you had to cross over it. That gives you what you want. What you want. So this starts with you and you have 1 neighbor. Same rule applies as usual with the no neighbors with those guys. The 2 purples. So those two need to share one neighbor. Then how do I... Oh, that guy needs two neighbors, which means I don't fill in the area around him, actually. Means I'm messing up by doing that. But if I fill you in, you also have two neighbors and you're happy again. See, I need to dodge the one on the top right. There we go. Yeah. The two neighbor ones in the corner need to be either fully immersed or dodged completely, and you leave one square for these guys. We're good. Let me re-explain the mechanic I already did. Ah. So as I established before, is it always true though? Yeah. So the purples always have to stay not white. In order to maintain no neighbors, so you have to encase them. So having a neighbor that is a 1 means that that one has to become white. But I said before that those ones are always the beginning or end, so the fact that there's 2 causes me a problem. That I don't know what to do with. So currently the bottom 2 are already fine. But the act of wrapping around this one will make the bottom one angry. Ah, I can make this one happy on its own, right? Ah, sorry. Right, I can't walk over this one on the bottom, can I? Right, it's a 3, so the 3 around it all have to match it. The one on the bottom right is a 2. So I either need to not touch them or fully immerse them, but I have to wrap around the 4 or the 0. So I guess that means I have to fully immerse these guys. Then how do I wrap around you? I haven't got the beginning part. Oh, R is reset. And we need to end on the one that's in the middle of the map. Because it specifically has to become white. Go all the way around? Oh, I still didn't get that part. Because that one makes that one angry now. How am I gonna make that happy? Everybody's angry. I don't. My plan doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. So how do I improve this? There's some combination of ways that I like flank this in order to make it work. This one on the left. All I know is that the one in the middle has to be filled in because we have to encase this one. So this one has to be filled in. But the bottom or top one gets skipped. So I'm definitely encasing it in negative space because I have to walk into this one to solve it. And yeah, I guess I can't wrap around the back and top because then that wall comes through here and makes that part unsolvable. The top one. I get trapped thinking in terms of witness puzzles where you're just drawing a line and not the relationship between tiles sometimes. So I'm like, oh, you just go around the back. And it's like, obviously you can't. That takes you right next to the thing. Duh. There we go. Just a slightly different approach to the beginning, and that gives me a different combination through trying to fill in that space. It's funny because it felt like I was reassessing what actually needs to get done and where I don't actually need to stand, but it ultimately didn't change anything because I did just step on every single one of the tiles in the bottom two rows. So just me thinking of for a moment, oh, I don't need to do that tile, I just need those tiles, led to me just kind of doing them in a different order that did ultimately work. So in hindsight, it's a little funny that I was stuck at all. Stuck at all. Stuck at all. This makes like progress. This place kind of scares me. What about this place? What's going on over here? We got dots and diamonds and shapes. What about over here? Okay, these are neighbors and diamonds. So we're drawing two lines, or making two shapes that also satisfy all of the neighbor things. Gah. One neighbor, two neighbors. The whole top half's happy right now. That's pretty good. Getting there. One neighbor. There you go. Look at that bright ass neon color. Kind of reminds me of like the. I mean, it's all witnessy, but that's like such a bright color that kind of harkens back to stuff. It has me thinking about the Symmetry Island, and I don't know if that makes sense or not. Or specifically the part where you start looking at stuff out in the ocean. What am I looking at? Okay, so we are back to being able to draw shapes like this. I'd make that happy that way. So these can't have any matching neighbors. Oh, just attach these. There we go. I'm like, how am I going to make these two attached to each other? And then I started thinking about these guys, but you can't have any neighbors with these, so they can't be the same shape as these. So you definitely was going to be combining the diamonds with the diamonds. Then I realized that was already there, basically. Womp womp. That one, borderline solved itself. Okay, this has to be matched with one of these, and this has to be matched with one of these, because there is not a purple... There's not a second purple or orange diamond. So this and this are combined. This is combined with that, which has two neighbors. That and that. So they should all be happy, and they are. Now how to make y'all's happy. This. But they can't be in the same shape. Two neighbor, two neighbor. Ah. So this has to be the opposite of these. Ah. I tried combining them a second ago, which creates problems with all this. Because these don't get along with these. That makes that happy. Makes me wonder if I can connect these separately. Yeah. All of its options are right here. I could try making these negative space. Nope, not that one. Right. Ugh. Right, you can't take that one out because of that one. Now these are all displeased. So this one has to be in the same shape as it to succeed. And this one has to keep this one happy. So it has to be these two. Unless I'm coupling them differently. Like this one and that one. Like an L. Two neighbors, three neighbors. Like, so one of these has to get filled in to match it. This one breaks this. This one breaks this. And they both break this. And this one breaks this. Takes away its neighbor situation. This is cut off from that, and also doesn't have the correct number of neighbors. What am I missing today? Two neighbors, two neighbors? No, three neighbors. It's the one I need to connect the two white shapes. Unless I don't need to connect the white shapes? Leave them in the other shape? You can only have two neighbors. And this has to be the opposite. Still reduces it to that many, which is not enough. Like I can... no. I'm not making any progress. I could... No, I can't even say a sentence. I can't even get through a single sentence because every single thought I have is just so immediately not a good idea. Put these off. Those are the neighbors. Blah, blah, blah. See? Ta-da. Ta-da. They're mostly happy, but these two can't be in the same shape together because they cause conflict with these. So it then becomes a question of how do I separate these two sides without separating these two white diamonds? Ideally, you would draw a line that just contains them, but I can't connect them in the middle. If I try to combine one of the sides, now this one has the wrong number of neighbors, but it has to be paired with this yellow diamond. But they're currently keeping this one happy, who has to be the opposite of this one. I can try the other way around, but I don't think that works either. Because you're not the same shape, yeah. Yeah, no, that's a bad idea. This has to be not filled in. Yeah, so this is next to this, but it has to be paired with this one or that one, but it can't be paired with this one, so that means it has to be negative, so whatever it's paired with has to also be negative. Which is why I've tried stuff like this. There we go. Very minimal. Wait, why did that work? Oh, that's a possibility I didn't even consider, that you could just... You can pair the purple and the orange with the same flower. I essentially solved that on accident at the end. I made a connection somewhere else, and then like, there we go, and then it actually... was partially wrong, but it was right. It was wrong in how I was approaching it, but also turned out to be correct. I do not remember the logic of those statues, and I'm worried about that part. I can make them squares. I can make them like that. That doesn't solve their problems. Can't go down here because of that. Can't go right or any more down. We're using the maximum boundary of up, left, down, and right. So I cannot expand these shapes. I can reduce them, which I probably should, by removing that. Because now I can create a boundary on the inside. So the challenge here is to make the two white shapes the same. And we're really restricted on what we can do with the black shapes. I can't do this. I can add something like this that's not attached to this. But that would suggest one here. I'm allowed to? No, I'm not allowed to do that because of this middle piece. Let's try to separate them. The existence of this piece suggests the existence of this piece, but I can't go there, so that has to get removed. Now I can add this piece, which is this one, and this piece. So now they match. There we go. Sometimes they just feel like little logic puzzles. Like, that's a vague term because logic applies to so much stuff, but I mean like, those like process of elimination puzzles that have a grid. Like you just see what's possible across the board and you have to keep recombining that information. So this has to be shaped like this, but a negative space. The act of filling this one in gives us this one, which suggests that we want this, 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 but that combines these, which should make them impossible. So no, we don't want that piece, which just means this has to be negative space then. We don't want them to combine. We can't wrap around like this, so this is staying positive but negative compared to this shape. I mean, we want to add these. Might have to not make those combine. Oh, and this one has to be a plus sign down here, so we're adding this, this, this. And then you. There you go. They're all plus signs. That's the shape. This looks like an actual nightmare. Okay, so... Oh, they're rotatable. Never mind. I was about to say you can't go to the left of a white shape, or above the white shape, or to the right of the white shape, so that really reduces what they can be like, but nope. We're now bringing back diagonals, which means that these can be rotated, which means... Blah, 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 blah. They can be all sorts of things. Like little L's. Not that kind. I mean, it could be that, but it's touching here, so it'd have to be inverted to make that work. Not a very good starting guess. Nothing really plays out there the way you would want it to. So this doesn't work because that makes these all the same shape as each other. Like right here. They cannot be all 1 by 2. I was thinking about expanding the black shapes. Like if they all became L's, but they're all connected, which becomes its own mess. I'm considering how possible it might be to make one of the two shapes just one square. But it seems pretty hard to draw around these, like... This can't also be one square, so this would have to be an L, probably. And I've already tried this. I can't add that to here or here to make that work. Also, that's a tip and that's a center. We try it with you guys. It's pretty hard to make those separate shapes. Okay. Something's gotta give. Probably was just tempted to combine these. Like, that's separate shapes, right? Like, as long as you're on that side of the shape and you're on that side of the shape, then those should be happy? Yeah. So I could go back to L's. This can only exist if this cuts off its shape. And then that goes here. There we go. Whew, let's take a break.